Hey guys, Mackie here from Melee.co and welcome to another lesson with Coach Quetz. In this lesson, we go over the Falcon matchup again and talk more specifically about what I'm doing and things that I can adjust, and especially I keep getting stomped over and over, so things that I can do to avoid that, as well as continue to practicing my edge guards there. And then we talk about just some other things to practice for the week, like flow cancelled fares on shield and stuff like that. So this episode's kind of more into the nitty gritty of my own play. So if that's interesting to you, then keep watching.
I had a look at the recent Down Smash weeklies. I watched all your games, except for the one versus the Marth.
Yeah. That was such a random game anyway. So
yeah,
you didn't miss much.
Because we haven't talked about Marth yet. I don't want to really drill you on it or anything like that. You'll probably find that the matchup is getting easier just because everything else might be getting better. But there's still very specific stuff with that matchup that I want to have a look at later on. But the good thing is we got to see Falcon twice. And following up from what we did last time, where we kind of retread on ground with Fox, we'll retread a little bit of ground on Falcon as well.
Cool.
This time. Because there's a few things in the matchup that you did. First of all, you were playing really well. Even though you had some games that were a bit of a wash, there was a lot of games where your movement was so much better than before. There was a definite increase in the number of flow cancelled nairs as an attack rather than dash attack.
Yeah.
So that was really good to see. And also, just your dash dances and wave dashes were way better. There was even just one part I caught you getting into the groove a bit with some shielding into the wave dash back, run forward, shield, wave dash back. Very Armada-esque movement as well. So it's good to be able to... Was it a tournament or is that just a friendlies thing?
That was we run... So it's not a tournament, but we run a friendly bracket. So we still do the tournament procedure, double elimination, but there's no money or it doesn't count towards anything.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So
we still get a bit stressed, but
I can see the kind of breathing in, breathing out. It's okay, it must be a tournament. And he's taking it pretty seriously. Because at first I thought it was just going to be friendly, especially how it was just all feeling one together.
Yeah.
So it was really good to see good dash dances and wave dashes. Your chain grabs were pretty much perfect the entire time on Final Destination. You didn't drop it once, and you ended it smartly.
Yeah.
You didn't kind of push it point. You knew, especially against Falcon, because people try and overdo it with Falcon and he gets out, but you kind of know the percent quite well and you net out every single time. And sometimes it led to the edge instead and you forward through him, which is perfectly acceptable. I think that's a really good smart play. So basically you got pretty high value out of your chain grabs in that tournament.
Yeah, we were talking about it just before the game because there was a few Falcons there and they were talking about how they can get out of chain grabs at over 80% by DIing up and then double jumping.
Yeah.
And so I could see that he was doing that, just DIing straight up. And so I'm I need to
Well, the easy thing for you means that you have to just chain grab as per normal, and then as it gets to that 70% mark, you just have to look out for the straight up DI, and then just near him out from there.
Which is what I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was good to hear that I looked like I was playing better because it's hard to tell because everyone's getting better at the same time, so results aren't necessarily changing.
I would say the Thrivals has gotten really good. Hey, from the last time I versed him, there's quite a lot of good chain combos of chain together a lot more neatly as well.
Yeah.
So
he's been putting in a lot of time to get better, and he's trying to think about it more. He's one of those players that will actually watch you and analyze what you do and read you, whereas not everyone.
Was he on the commentary at one point? Because there was it's one of the few times I've heard commentary on your videos.
Yeah, we're getting there slowly but surely. I've got this old laptop.
The next thing is hopefully it's not pixelated abomination next time. It's I can still see what's going on, and audio desyncing be damned. I can still see what I needed to see, so that's all right.
Yeah, well, I uploaded it all as audio desync because then I can download it from YouTube and I adjust the audio and then upload individual files separately. I just haven't got around to doing that yet.
Another good thing I saw was the attempts to try and catch the double jump with the down air. It didn't work the few times that you tried it, but that's just a matter of when you get quicker at recognizing the situation, it will start to connect. So the attempt, I like the attempt because it means that your recognition of when that situation is about to occur is going to get quicker as you go for it more, and then you actually start to land it and get it. So that was good to see as well. And I think there was actually only very few things that were kind of letting me down in the big things. We could dissect it into oblivion, but there was a few major things that kind of fell apart for you. And I think one of the biggest things was that both Thriles and Aussie Rob started to use down air a lot. They started to stomp your down smashes a lot. And there would be times where you just get continuously stomped repeatedly.
There was one against Thriles on the platform on FOD. Did you see that? And he got 5 in a row to a knee or something.
Yeah, I remember that now. Because there was one part where Aussie Rob just stomped you 3 times in a row. And then even on the commentary, Thriles was saying, he's just stomping him. And the reason why this was happening, which we'll probably bring that up now. That will be our first thing, to watch one of these things. We'll just quickly watch one of them and see what was going on. Because once you see it, watch together. Yeah, once you see it, it's just a little bit more obvious. Because I think if avoiding this stomp thing will help you swing it back in your favor again. Also, just if you wanted to look at some new Falcon videos on Armada's stream, his Twitch channel rather, he's got a lot of videos at the moment against him and Nunn.
Yeah.
So before they disappear, it's probably worth checking them out. He's definitely I think the weekend against Nunn has made him even better against Falcon, to the point where now he's even commenting when he's talking to Nunn about it that he doesn't really think that the matchup's hard anymore. So he's definitely...
He thinks it's in Peach's favour now.
I don't think I think he's saying it's quite even, but not in either character's favour at the moment. It's a very subtle shift in his opinion, because I kind of keep quite close tabs on his opinions on a lot of things. I'll send you the link in Facebook. But yeah, he's definitely gotten a little bit more confidence in the matchup, starting to realise that there's and he's doing new things as well, so it's pretty exciting for us.
Okay, it's definitely worth watching that.
He has a really good recent answer to the situation. You know how you were talking about when you do the nair near the edge and they tech it?
Yeah.
So they're trying to upbeat towards the stage. What he started to do is that he nairs it and then fades back, so that and then float cancels it further away from the stage, near the platform, end of the other platform. And so when they immediately tech and try and upbeat, he's already in position to punish the upbeat so he doesn't get grabbed.
Yeah.
You'll see it. If you watch any of it, you'll definitely see that come up at some point.
Yeah, so he doesn't get grabbed by Falcon's upbeat.
Yeah. He's already punishing the next part because he's out of range of it. All right. Let's watch the one where you do well.
I almost got a game. It's so close.
Oh, man. It was a heartbreaker at the end as well, because I think there was a moment where he left himself wide open, and it just looked like there was just that bit of hesitation.
I think there was 2 edge guards that I missed that I was I should not have missed those. I just needed to be a bit further out, and I was just a bit too close to the stage.
All right. So you almost meant to do against Falcon in this matchup. So at the start, you you dash dance back and forth a bit and then wave dash back, and he almost missed it down there. He only just flipped you. One of the first ways to deal with down air is to just simply avoid it altogether. If they start doing this thing where they're just trying to stomp heavy on you all the time, then you can start moving back and forth. Because what happens in a lot of the games is that you stuck where you kind of get stuck in place and then you try to just down smash or not really do anything. And then they just stomp repeatedly. See that one?
Yeah.
He just caught you down there. So this is good. Already the low float back air. There's a good forward air like to pressure him safe. That was a very good back air from the double jump cancel back air to get down the platform. Usually works pretty well. Another good dash attack, clipped him out of the air. So he's starting to try and catch on to your down smashes already. Like that one traded, fortunately.
Yeah.
But he's already started trying. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Where you traded?
Yeah. I was lucky to trade.
But dash attack, he hadn't. Yeah, so I like it, and notice how you're keeping close, like right there. Okay, that turn up wasn't good. So over here, did I go back? Oh yeah.
That's hard because it's such a long video.
Staying much closer to me than normal. So normally you have a tendency to kind of fade too far away. I think so. You down smash, stay near him. I think I'll get to that. Oh, it's because it's such a long video.
Yeah.
Of shitting it. Yeah, so you went towards him that time. So you got to pressure him towards the edge from there. I'm surprised you didn't die there.
Yeah, that was lucky.
Get back on, turn it, get back on. This combo was looking good. I think you just had to have faith in your up air connecting because you would have double jumped sooner, and then might have been able to. You wouldn't have been able to combo that nair, but you would have been able to put like pressure on him at the top platform by floating underneath it or something like that. That was back air.
I always DI the down airs wrong.
Yeah, sometimes they just come out too fast. It's hard to react, especially when you're in the middle of doing something else. I'm guessing that was much.
Yeah.
It's tricky. It's hard to do. It's hard to edge guard Falcon on this stage. The side platforms are quite close to the edge, and it's a lot higher to jump to that platform.
Yeah.
You can try and react to him by staying underneath it. I just like a positioning. You're just in general playing closer, which means that you're always you're just ready for. And you're not letting him dash dance camp as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't really look like he's even going for that. I think he just wants to be. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't want to. Some people don't want to have to resort to playing a certain way against pitch.
Yeah.
They just do whatever. And until you beat it out of them, start playing against him. I won't walk out the way that you are in some situations after this game. back air. A lot of the time against Falcon, you can actually just beat out or trade with these aerials.
Wrong way.
Yeah. Now, the reason why this didn't work too well is because he was sitting in flow. So,
yeah, I didn't expect him to be able to reach that platform.
Okay.
I misjudged the drift.
But even still, like, had he not reached the platform, you should have been able to. So, we'll have a look.
I think we should switch to Discord chat because I don't think my internet can handle the video from us and the YouTube video.
Oh, is it? Okay.
My internet's pretty crap.
After this one then?
Yeah. Yeah, I should have just stood there. Then at least I could have reacted.
Or dash dance. Like, dash dance is like the upgraded version of just standing there. So we're going to call and go to Discord?
Yep.
Okay.
Rightio. So I was going to mention about the recovery. We haven't talked too much about recovery, but this is just a really basic thing that I want you to be aware of.
My recovery or Falcons?
Sorry?
My recovery or Falcons?
Again, with your recovery, how you're getting back onto the stage.
Yep.
So what you sometimes do is double jump and overshoot the edge with your double jump. And so you come in with, like, vulnerable.
So you mean I'm not sweet spotting?
Yeah. So what will happen is you might get knocked off slightly below the edge for some reason, and then you kind of double jump to get back onto the stage to land on it with the double jump. And often you get hit at this point. Sometimes, in the last one, you came in at a odd float height. Your float height was not in line with the edge to sweet spot it. You were kind of over the edge.
Yeah. Is this the one where I did a nair and I didn't get on stage?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So there's another one. I think it might have been against another game or against Thriles or something like that, where you definitely kind of got hit off and you just double jump straight into another attack when you were trying to get back onto the edge. So one thing you probably want to, it seems kind of silly to practice because it might be too no dur, but just get a feel of how low you can go from the edge to drop down and then double jump and just grab the edge with Peach's double jump. And so basically what I'm suggesting is that if you do get head off and underneath the stage, maybe let yourself drop further down or maybe further away.
Yeah.
Right? So when you double jump, you only just grab the edge. And of course, if they try and edge hog you or whatever, you still have resources. This is character dependent as well because you don't want to go under the stage versus Fox, for example, because if you get shine spiked in this process, then you may end up just dying.
Yeah.
But against other characters, it's a lot safer. So,
so practice sweet spotting, basically.
Yeah, sweet spot in different ways. Maybe you might go drop straight down and then double jump straight back up. Maybe you might drop and then drift off to the right and come all the way back around and then re-grab the edge. And also maybe even like trying to float at good heights to grab the edge. You can actually grab the edge from quite low under the stage. So yeah, you want to make sure that you're a little bit more safer, basically, when you're coming back onto the stage, because sometimes you're just handing yourself on a silver platter for them to hit you back off again.
Yeah.
That's just a little thing. So down there, dealing with this stomp business that was going on. Oh, I forgot we've still got that thing up.
Yeah.
All right, so I think it was in game 2. He starts to go into a bit of a stomp frenzy, because he starts to. I don't know. It was on Drake.
Can you mute yours because it's feeding back?
Yep.
Your game sound.
Yeah. So I'll try and get back onto that. Down and Dreams. Here we go. So let's have a look at how. So he even goes straight off the bat. He just flies over you and tries to stomp. Yeah. He's stomping there.
I feel like on this stage, a lot of Falcons just stomp.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because it's totally true. I think it's just because there's less range for them to like do their nair stuff. Yeah. So they kind of prefer to come down with the down air instead. Maybe that's the case. Let's talk about how you can deal with this situation. So the first thing is that you can jump in there. It's a really easy answer to the thing. So if you see them starting to try for this all the time,
Yeah.
like you got him right there when he was probably going to stomp at that point, and you caught him out doing it. So the first thing is that if you suspect that they're doing it too much, then you can jump and get them out of it. The other one is that you just have to stop double down smashing.
Yeah.
So you tend to double down smash the first time and then do another down smash as kind of like a...
That's my panic option.
Yeah, your oh shit, like hopefully this works. Yeah, like that, right there, you did it right there. So he's starting to predict that this second down smash coming out, which you do pretty consistently. And he's as soon as he gets hit by the first one, then he's jumping and down airing your second one. So maybe what you can do instead is something like down smash, and then once it hits, or maybe he shields it, you can then do a jumping nair or jumping up air even, if you want to get a combo started, would be really cool, because he's on like 68%. So if you jump an up air, you would have been able to get something going.
Yeah.
You jump up air, surprise out of shield, can do a lot of work. So that's another thing. And also the nair doesn't work too well. Sorry, the down air, the stomp, doesn't work too well against the mid-height float nair. It catches him before the move comes out.
Yeah.
So if he's starting to do it like from a long distance, maybe you're playing on FD, then that's a good option as well, because he won't be able to stomp dare a mid-float nair. So yeah, basically that's your options in a brief format. Move around more, dash dance, nair, jump nair if you think he's going to do it out of shield. If it's really telegraphed, so that's kind of like in a really quick moment, like, oh, he's right above me, I really have a good feeling that he's going to do it, I'm going to jump there. If it's kind of like more obvious, maybe you're like sitting in shield or something like that and you feel like he's going to come down with it, that might be a good time to roll away or wave dash out of shield so that he can't. Because once Falcon jumps over your shield and then he's like stopped in the air, like he might be coming down with a jump down there, then you roll, then there's nothing you can do about it, because like he's already in midair and all his momentum has been stopped. So rolling away from the situation could be ideal. Like if we have a look back in that last game, I swear there was a situation where it happened. So right there, for example, like when he was like he went for he dashed to the right for some reason, but let's say you got stuck in shield and you weren't sure at any of these points, and he was threatening down air, you could roll to either side to keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
So that's another option if you feel like it's a bit more telegraphed, because if you try and jump nair out of shield while he has more time, he can react to that and double jump over it and then down air that instead. It's not as threatening, because getting down aired in the air means you can tech it and it's harder for him to follow it up. But it's, you don't want to take unnecessary damage if you can avoid it.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I used to roll out of it, and it's just like one of those options that I forgot about or just stopped using for some reason.
Well, now when you start to get down it again, at least you have some information to fall back on to prompt you on what to do.
Yeah.
So move out of the way with dash dance to prevent it in the first place. If you find yourself in the situation, jump nair. If you find that he's got too much prep time, then maybe roll a wave dash away. And
from far away, the mid float nairs are kind of a good counter attack.
Yeah. If you're both in kind of a neutral state in the first place, you can prevent it also altogether with a mid float nair.
Yeah.
So that's it with that regard. Also, your edge guards. There was still some hesitation about not trusting in the landing lag of Falcon, where you tried to hit him before he landed. Yeah. There were definitely situations in these games where it was right, like the hesitation was understandable, because there was platforms involved and it was really ambiguous about where they might end up.
Yeah.
Looking at the beginning of this game. See if any of what we've talked about so far comes into play.
Yeah. Thrall's like refuses to stage strike, and it always throws me. Hey.
So he always lets you strike first, or you just pick a
No,
stage?
he doesn't want to strike. He like hates striking. Like he'll cancel. You watch him. He's like, won't let me do it. He'll cancel the top two, and like then he's like, just choose any. And I'm like,
well, I guess if he knows that he's always those two are not going to be a factor regardless of what happens.
yeah. But it just throws my like mindset because I'm like,
yeah.
so used to
Do you
that
feel more
routine.
comfortable match up on FD or Battlefield?
Pardon?
You feel more comfortable in this matchup? Okay, that was the unsafe double jump that I was talking about. Sorry to interrupt.
I wish we could go back slightly. It's so hard.
I can go back in intervals of 30 seconds. So watch what happens when he knocks you off the stage. I think he might have down thrown you or something, or you let yourself fall below the edge.
Yeah.
And you double jump straight into him. If you're going to do the double jump straight into him, you have to put out that hitbox of your nair.
Yeah.
As soon as you can, because you're coming in raw.
This one.
Yeah. So either you wanted to sweet spot that, or maybe come in with a float, or come in with an attack. That air dodge was probably a bit redundant. You had already gotten out of the way safely, I feel. Some of these aren't true combos that he's doing. I think you have opportunities to nair and bear in between them.
Okay.
Like just that one there, we'll try and go back as possible. Right, so he does his up air soon. I feel like you could have bared out of it. Not that one. He does like a combo, two-hit combo. That one. It looked like you could have like bared, like fallen down with an attack with it. Not sure, but this kind of thing comes up a few times where you can hit, like retaliate on him with aerials. Either miss, like literally miss the attack, or you miss the opportunity.
Yeah.
That was really good read. Not read, but reaction. Chain grab. I think the commentator is actually saying at this point that that was good to try and go for that down air there.
Yeah.
I think it was just a case of Peach not being able to get to the edge of the stage fast enough, because he pretty much did it straight away. That looked like a miss float cancelled out of shield, that weird movement you just did.
Yeah.
Because I think you do it again shortly after.
It's me trying to do a back air out of shield.
Yeah.
He catches me with that side B a bit at that float height. That's something we were talking about.
Yeah, you do it again. The right there, you missed a float cancel there out of shield. Yeah, and you can see your frustration, like missing it twice in a row. It can be tricky, especially under pressure. Oh.
Yeah.
Just it must have been like too many options. What do I do?
Yeah.
You could just
so much time, and then you end up doing nothing.
Yeah. Yep, that was good. He messed up a bit there. I think some of your run-up dash attacks could just be run-up grabs, hey?
Yeah.
Once you condition Falcon to start shielding a lot, you can get away with it. As long as you're not running in from too far away. Yeah, that won't work. Air dodging into someone like Falcon. I mean, I'm wondering what he would even throw out for that to be a thing. Another good chain grab. I think he's trying to do the soft DI behind, which is like the easiest one to cover. Sometimes.
I feel like at low percents, the DI far away from you is the hardest.
Mm-hmm. Definitely is. At least when I was practicing chain grabbing the other day, that definitely felt like it was the case. That was another grab would have worked instead of dash attack. Shooting. I wonder if we went back and just see how many times you dash attacked, whether or not shield would grab would have worked instead. That was kind of.
That was an example of not trusting the landing lag of Falcon, right?
Yeah. Because you could have just run up and down smashed him when he landed. or
Yeah.
if you get behind him in time.
I can't believe I lose this one. So hard to rewatch when you lose.
Yeah, yeah. Watch this next one. We'll move on to they'll go to the Orpha Falcon again. I think it's like you're on the right track. So I don't want to like give too much new information regarding the matchup so that you're like overloaded with stuff, because the fundamentals of what we've already talked about will get you through the matchup already.
Yeah.
It's a matter of execution and putting it together.
Well, that's the
And
thing.
then-
It's kind of like doing it better, as well as like less tech flubs and stuff would obviously help as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, tech flubs, honestly, like if you reduce the amount of tech flubs you do, and this is not like you specifically, but anyone, when people reduce the amount of tech flubs they do by a significant amount, which is totally possible when you're still fairly new to the game, then it's like significantly makes you play significantly better.
Yeah.
I like that connection that you made there. Oh, I can't believe you made it back. You cleaned it up anyway. Good movement. He's starting to catch on with these down airs as well.
Yeah.
Down air, down air, down air, down air.
I got some nairs out of shield though. I was pretty happy with that. It's like the first time in like matches where I've actually done it consistently.
Yeah. I feel like he kind of gave up with that. I think you should just commit to the up throw and go for the tech chase on the platforms.
I was actually trying to up throw that one. Because every time I'm in that situation now, I have your voice in my head saying like, you should go for the up throw and like commit to it because you need to get better at it. But sometimes when I'm doing it, the way I use my control stick, I don't know, I end up throwing in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I completely sympathise with that situation. It happens to me more than enough. I theorise that what's happening is that you're preparing yourself to dash, because Peach's dash is feels hard to do. That you've already inputted the dash before you've done the throw. Or you might, like, you've grabbed them and you've inputted up too soon and you've tried to dash forward already, so you get the forward throw.
Yeah.
I think it's probably
that could be it, because I'm pummeling as well. It could be inputting.
Yeah. Like you pummeled and then you tried to press up, but it wasn't ready to accept.
Yeah, I press up during the pummel animation and then go to dash and then the forward throw comes out. That's interesting.
Yeah. I think that's just maybe something you have to just get used to the timing. At least maybe knowledge +1 of recognizing what might be happening, and so that you can look at it under the microscope and work out your timing a bit better. I don't remember you coming back to this stage. Oh, you're playing in some version where Parasol doesn't freeze frame them as much. The Smash DI thingy.
What?
Do you know what I'm talking?
No.
When you up this version and it kind of like goes straight through them instead of doing a multi-hit. It's like it's just going. It's like a version 1.0 TSC 1.0. No.
I was on PAL. It's the new 20XX though.
Yeah, I
It was
think.
set to PAL.
Do you know what I'm talking about though? Like when moves are like Zelda smash attacks and Samus's up B.
No.
The multi kind of moves. Okay. It just makes them easier to connect. Down. Whenever someone rolls behind you, that's auto down smash, basically. Another good chain grab.
I did the chain grabs good, but I also feel like he didn't DI difficultly. Like each DI option he chose, I felt was easy to cover.
Yeah, maybe you're just so good at it now that it all seems easy.
Maybe it's just the hard DI away that I struggle with the most. And really that's only at low percents. So maybe I'm just getting better.
Yeah.
You just never give yourself credit. Hey, you're always like
No, it's just too easy. No, they were just sucking that day. Despite the fact that he was 3 stocks to 1, I knew at this point. And he was playing really well. So good on the trials. But despite some of the worst sides of that game, I feel like a lot of the time when he did lose, it was just because that the stomp was coming into play a lot, and they were often getting a lot of damage off that move on you.
Yeah.
Having some
that first stock on Fountain. Was so bad. Where is it? So hard to find in this.
I think it was further back. It was the first. It's the second game you played, or was it? Oh no, you went FD Fountain FD, didn't you?
It's this one, this stock. I think he stomps me like 4 or 5 times on the platform and like almost 0 to death me, basically.
Does he normally? Oh no, this is your count pick, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and you didn't quite really DI any of the down airs, did you? Because you kind of just kept bouncing up and down on the spot.
Yeah. So should I be? Yeah. See, I don't even know what to do there. Like I tried to at the end tech it away, but can I? I should be DIing when I get hit.
Yeah, you could DI it, for example, to the right and be hit onto the stage, and then tech roll across the stage.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Truthfully.
It's pretty uncommon to find yourself in a situation where you shouldn't be DIing. Most of the time, some form of DI is going to assist you in some form. Like, for example, in this one.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't DI stomp. It's something that I don't think I ever do.
Like, not holding right at this point, you would have already landed on the stage. And on the platforms is just making it so easy because he knows that you're going to be in that zone all the time.
Well, then you get stuck, right?
Yeah. So, I would recommend DIing away from it, and usually on the side that is where the least platform edge is. So you were getting hit on the right side of the platform, so the right side was better for you to go to because you could get off the platform. You wouldn't want to go left, of course, because you'd still end up on the platform.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So that pretty much covers it in terms of Falcon for now. Just avoiding the down air. And being more committed to the edge guard. If you're keen on some of Armada's new turnip stuff that he's doing against Falcon's edge guard, then check out the Nun videos, and you might get some ideas of how to edge guard him with turnips. Now, the turnip edge guard is a lot to do with when you have prep time, because otherwise you'll still see Armada do the classic wait for them to land and hit them off, or near them, blocking the edge by floating in front and nearing them. So you'll see some of the stuff we've already talked about in those games, and you'll see some new stuff as well. If you're looking specifically, it's the one...
Yeah, I'm just going to go on Twitch now and try and find it.
Yeah, it's 5 hours and 3 minutes long. And they don't start playing the matchup until quite late into it. It's about...
Amanda Nunn and Trillium.
Yeah, it's about 4 hours and 20 minutes into the video that they start Falcon Peach.
Okay.
You'll definitely get some ideas on edge guarding with turnips in that one, if anything, because Armada's has definitely changed the way he's edge guarding Falcon. It's a bit more refined now, and turnips have got a lot to do with it. So definitely worth checking out. So the other thing, on a technical side, that we haven't, I can't believe we haven't discussed it yet, because normally I find it quite critical, but I think I already saw that you had a pretty good foundation of it already, so I kind of left it alone, was the float cancelled forward air.
Yeah.
So have you tried practicing float cancelled forward air against 20XX computers at all?
In what situation? Do you mean like putting their shields up
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
I have, but it was a while ago now. It's probably been months since I've done it.
Okay, cool. So, all right. So I guess I have to give you a bit of information about how this move works. A bit of an anatomy of the float cancel forward air. So you can let's get this out of the way. Yeah, a bit of some information about how it works, so you know what to expect when you run off. So, as you already know, when you do a float cancelled aerial, you only have the 4 frames of landing lag.
Yeah.
Of all of these moves, forward air has the most shield stun, and a lot of that has to do with how high the base knockback is, and also the fact that it does more damage than her other aerials.
Yeah.
What that tends to cause is the more frame, more an advantageous situation when you attack on shield with the float cancel.
Yeah.
Now, you often might hear that it's +4 on shield versus shield, which means that you're able to act 4 frames sooner than the opponent.
Yeah.
It's true,
but it's only if it's done like perfectly, right?
Yeah, it's not the entire truth. So the way that it basically works is that after you've connected the forward air on their shield, it's the amount of time that you're going to get as an advantage. So how much frame advantage you get depends on your distance from when you hit the shield to how much longer you have to actually touch down on the ground.
Yeah.
So that means that if you forward air their shield quite high, there's obviously going to be more time before you will even touch the ground, which means that you may not even be framed. You're probably going to be framed negative. You might be -2 or something like that. Maybe even worse. I'm not exactly sure on a very high one. But for most, like the high ones are going to come into play because when you're doing that kind of high float height and coming down with the forward air, you often do hit the high angles of their shield. So you have to expect that you're probably not going to be getting +4. You might be looking at anywhere from maybe +1 to -1 or something in that range to work with. So you have to start making judgment calls when you do connect the fair on how high you hit on their shield. I think how high you hit on their shield is a good way to assess how safe the forward air you just did was. Once you do the forward air, then based on your assessment of how good it was, you can then make a better judgment on what to do next. The general order of things is that if you're versing a character whose shield is being depleted or they have a bad shield, then down smash is a good option because not only does it prevent a lot of acts out of shield like jumping or grabbing, but it also will shield poke if they decide to stay in shield. So that's usually a pretty good option. Down smash is actually really good after forward air on shield. The problem is that because it's so good, most people will try and act in such a way to counterattack that over anything else. So once you start to get quite good at this, people will tend to hold shield a lot when after the forward air connects, so that your down smash won't affect them, and they'll tend to get pushed away. And so that's why some people, or what you might want to integrate, grab into it. This is forward air grab. And the best way that you can do that as an input, in my opinion, and because you're not using it, I haven't seen you use it yet. I would recommend practicing it this way to prevent future problems. Do the forward air, and then when you're doing the forward air and you're landing, hold the shield button, whatever you shield with, and then press A to grab rather than trying to do forward air and then pressing Z to grab. Because what happens when you press Z to grab is if you mistime it, you get the big Z shield.
Yeah, you get that light shield that comes out.
Yeah, the light.
Well, sometimes you even get jabs, right?
Yeah. It depends. It depends on a few things, but the whole thing can be circumvented if you hold, do the grab with L and A, for example. If you shield with L.
Yeah.
So I recommend practicing it that way. So you can put the 20XX computer onto shield grabbing everything with a shield that doesn't deplete.
Is there a particular character you recommend to practice it with?
You could just do Fox. I mean, Fox is you're going to be trying to forward air Fox a lot, so that I guess this situation is relevant in that matchup.
Yeah.
Marth not as relevant because you don't get as many forward airs on shield versus him.
Yeah.
So forward air the Fox, and then just go for if your mashing's good, you can just mash A. Some people don't like mashing, but I mean, in my mind, I haven't proven this right. I can't say that this is true, but to me, it feels like mashing is better than timing because there's just so many more opportunities for you to get the perfect timing.
So you mean just holding L and just mashing A as quickly as possible?
Yeah, if you've done the forward air, and usually you go for the grab when you end up very close together. It's a very meaty kind of forward air. You end up very close together afterwards. Then you can go for the grab because they're often very scared of a down smash that's very close, and so you get a pretty free grab. I find that I get most of my grabs that way when I do fair grab. And if you watch Armada get fair grab, it's often the same way. It's a very close quarters situation.
Yeah.
Practice that by doing these forward airs into grab against the CPU that's trying to shield grab you.
Yeah.
And you actually find it's really easy with the frame advantage from the forward air. You probably find that you can pull it off more often than.
Yeah. Back when I used to practice it, I got pretty decent at it where I could do the forward air into the grab most of the time. But then I had the situation, I'd then take that to a game and I'd forward air and I didn't actually hit them, and then I'd try and grab. You know how you practice something so much that when it comes to game day, you just do it even though it's not a good option?
Yeah, I think you'll get better at making those kind of follow-up mistakes as your situational recognition gets better, where you just have a more keener eye on whether or not it's about to hit or whether it has hit or not. I found that just from getting better, you can start to have a real gut feeling that this one's going to hit, this one's going to get shielded.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I have more options now from fair than I used to. It used to be fair into grab or into nothing, truthfully. But now I do I do fair into jabs to stop them running in to grab me. I do fair into dash away. And now I'll be practicing fair into grab. You just have all those more options. So when you're playing, I know they're more automatic.
Sometimes you get very well spaced fair. Now this one's really safe, but it's harder to get much follow up off. Down smash can be a bit too far away. It's a bit more vulnerable because if you do down smash and they still hold shield, it's probably only going to connect once, which leaves you more vulnerable than one that might hit 2 or 3 times. And grab might be out of range. You can jab, but what can sometimes happen? Now jab is 2 frames. And if you got a +2 fair on their shield and you jab straight away, they can't even act anyway, and you're just hitting their shield again.
Yeah.
So you've replaced your +2 advantage with the negative whatever advantage of the jab.
Yeah.
So it's not really a smart kind of way to do it. Jab, I think, is the option, personally, of what I see and what I've kind of theorized is the panic button of, this one's a bit, I'm not sure about this one. I think that was probably a negative forward air. I'm going to need to quickly throw something out to prevent the retaliation, the grab or whatever.
Yeah.
That's probably the time that you want to fair. The time that you want to jab. Otherwise, I've seen a lot lately, and some of the Peach players are kind of questioning jab as a go-to option because its payoff is pretty poor.
You get 2% if it hits, right?
Yeah, you can get 2%. Some characters can just straight up, and people are on the other side coming up with strategies to deal with fair jab by just crouch cancelling the jab and then hitting it back. Because the jab always sends the same distance. You can never get hit. If 999%, you'll still get hit nowhere with the first hit. So you can crouch cancel it at any percent. If they start to catch on to that, then that's going to give it a lot more trouble. The future is pretty bleak for fair jab. I think the better option, personally, is to start to dash back.
Yeah.
and to bait out a response and then think. It's also much safer because let's say they did a grab and you could have technically, you might have been able to jab that, but if you dashed away, you could just punish the misgrab anyway because you're out of the way. You can return back and then grab them, or you can dash attack them or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think dash away is a good one, and dash away is also really strong with back air, float cancel back air as well, because float cancel back air doesn't have as good shield advantage, and it doesn't have as much range as well. So often you get put into a situation where you can get shield grabbed, and it's harder to. You're facing backwards, so it's not as easy to jab. You can turn around jab. It's a bit technical, and I don't even think it's that worth it. But
it doesn't sound worth it.
Yeah, no. Float cancel back air into dash away, pretty safe against the shield because there's not much that can punish it if you're executing it really well. So in the same vein, float cancel forward air, it connects on a shield, you're pretty far away, start dash dancing and wait for the response. So
I think it's good to recognize that because there is no like good follow-up basically. Like, because you're not shield positive, you're too far away to grab, like. Or even if you are shield positive, you're still too far away to really do anything with that.
Yeah, and you're still applying pressure. They're in shield and you're dash dancing next to them. So they have to exit shield somehow.
Yeah.
That's the advantage there. And you might bait out a really weird response from them. Like they might try and jump and stomp you or something like that because they're expecting a down smash, but you've dashed away and now you can just nair them out of the air, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's an option. That's an option for all of your aerials: float cancelled nair, float cancelled bear. But because we're talking about fair here, obviously I have to mention it. When for the practice for increasing, something for you to work on, 20xx computer on a shield that doesn't deplete, so that's down on the D-pad.
Yeah.
Put him on shield grab, and then just practice the fair into grab. Yep. If you can do fair into grab, you can do fair into down smash. There's no need to practice fair into down smash if you can do the other.
Yeah. I might also practice fair into dash away because that doesn't come naturally to me.
It doesn't, and also it involves a smash turn away, which can, you want to make sure you're executing it correctly. How soon you can input that dash back. I think it can be buffered. Something in my brain is telling me that input might come a little bit easier than trying to just smash turn from standing still.
Yeah.
But you might want to just test it anyway and see how you go. But I think those are basically the things that you want to work on with fair. Yeah. And when you're having a look at these videos, that's right. That's what I was going to mention. So the usefulness of fair in general is very much dependent on the matchup and the situation. So against someone like Fox, you have more time to come in with a fair because there's certain heights he can't reach easily. You can pressure him into corners with it. It's a very threatening move for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't attack in front of him well, except for something like Nair, and it doesn't have the same reach if you've got enough space. It's just a threatening move for him. For someone like Falcon, it's a little bit trickier because if you come in from too far, then he can up you out of it. You're going to get beaten in the air because of his speed.
Yeah.
And range of up air as well.
Well, that's what I find against Thralls. Like the Nair, I don't know, it comes out so much faster that I can counteract his moves, but with the fair, I'll often get intercepted by his moves.
Yeah. So basically you want to, how you separate when you do Nair, should I be doing a Nair or should I be doing the fair? It's all about how much prep time you have. How much time do I have to get this out? If you've got all the time in the world and this is in melee time, so this could be in a matter of half a second.
Yeah.
If you've got more time to get that fair out, then do the fair because there's more reward for connecting a fair. Normally, stray fairs, as Armada has proven, can just literally get you the stock straight off bat alone, especially if it knocks them off stage.
Yeah.
It can be tech chase situations because at low percents it puts them on the ground, blah, blah, blah. Or if they shield it, you have a positive shield interaction there as well. Whereas Nair from a height isn't going to really get you. You're going to get that weak hit, and they're just going to shield grab it. So fair, if you do have the time, is superior to Nair. If you don't,
but is it so with Falcon, right, and fair, because like say he's dash dancing, you actually don't have that much time, right? Because he can just quickly jump across the stage with a Nair.
So the difference is that so against Fox and Falco, you will probably aggressively use fair.
I find I use fair a lot against Falco. I feel like I use it more against him than anyone else.
Yeah. There's certain characters like those two, and a lot of the lower tier characters that you can just run over. You can aggressively use fair against someone like Falcon or Marth, and to a lesser extent Sheik. Marth is definitely number one in terms of the hardest to just move in on with a fair. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, because he can just do anything basically.
Yeah, that they have to be unprepared somehow.
Yeah.
So that could mean you hit them away with a Nair, and then you, while they're in a tumble state across the other side of the stage, they might be about to be in a tech situation and you can't really reach them. They might be in a mistech situation. They could just be having to like land normally. Yeah. That's preparation time for you to start to set up a fair, because they won't have enough time to stop you from getting the move out. And then once it's out, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Most of the time. But if you're floating across the entire stage in what did I call it before? A cross-country
float. Charles was commenting on that because I drove him home, and he's like, you do these floats where you like just float all the way across the stage. I'm like, yeah, we call them cross-country floats. He's like, yeah, don't do that. He's like, just close the space on the ground or something. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I need to get better at that.
So yeah, you'll find situations where they might leave themselves open. They come in on you, and then you're already in the air. You can come down with a fair. You've hit them away, and you have time to set it up and then move in with a fair and come down. But when all things are equal and you're both standing still, ready to go, coming in with a fair against Falcon is pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, the way I realized it was bad was I kept doing it instead of Nair because I was doing the like a cross input at the same time. And so fair kept coming out instead of Nair because I hadn't like put it back to neutral, and then I just kept getting hit for it. So
you'll get better at it. That will just but yeah, you can I'm definitely liking the introduction of your low float Nairs, like mid low float Nairs against Falcon. I think they're working. The fair, you don't already have a bad habit of coming in with fairs against anyone. It's not like I've seen some players or some pitch players who just like it's their go-to. They just jump in the air and then come forward with forward airs repeatedly, and then they just fall apart when it comes to the Marth matchup.
Yeah,
because they try and apply the same thing against Marth and it just doesn't work. So you don't have that baggage already, which is good. You've learned. You're coming through from more of like the dash attack down smash.
Definitely, 100%.
I think it's actually a lot easier to fix because it's just a matter of replacing them with something else. Where
yeah, well, that's what I find. Fixing anything, it's replacing it with something else, like giving me more options. Because I'll often just do something because I feel like that's my only option. But replacing it with other options, like things just disappear more easily that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to tell people to stop dash attacking and stop down smashing because they're still really good moves. They still have really good risk rewards associated with them. That's why panic down smash works sometimes, because the commentators at the summit were even talking. No, was it the summit? No, it was at the Canada Cup, MacD versus Nunn.
Yeah,
and MacD was doing a lot of down smashes on platforms, and Vish was saying, he's like, well, why would you not? Like, even though it's obvious that you're going to do it, the risk is so much in your favor. If you miss, you might take 14% damage from an up air. Maybe you might get comboed. But if you hit, that's like 50% damage in your favor.
Yeah.
And it's hard to punish. Like, it's deceptive on when you can actually punish the end of it before she can just do it again.
Yeah.
It becomes its own little mix-up in a weird way. Like down smashing on platforms, won't I? And if you time it wrong, then maybe I'll just crouch cancel on the platform and do it again. So it's definitely like a huge risk reward. That's why it's so good. But of course, the better players you start to verse, or even if they come up with a pretty basic answer to it, like down airing you with Falcon, then it's going to start unraveling pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, often like when I play against Rob, he's good at punishing down smash with down air. Like he can time that well, or even knee. Like if I do a Randy down smash, and then platforms, he'll like wait it out and then just get me, like with an up air that like he doesn't protrude his whole body into the platform. Do you know what I mean? Like he gets the hit, but I feel like I don't know if I could hit him, even if the down smash was out.
The knee is it has to be quite expertly spaced, so it doesn't happen too often. But you're versing a good Falcon if they start doing that to you.
Yeah.
More often I see a trade and you both go flying in the same direction because he got down smashed and you got kneed, and so you both go together in that way.
Yeah,
it's pretty usual when that happens. You got to be ready to quickly back air them as you're recovering. if you both get hit around the same distance. But when you're watching, another thing I find, this is kind of leading into, because we can start, I feel like soon we might be able to start talking about defensive options. One thing that you'll find is that when you watch Armada play, have a look out for this as a kind of a footnote to everything else, about how often he's actually initiating himself and how often he's waiting for them to make the mistake and then attacking.
Yeah.
Find that it's almost like the opponent is just like fumbling in front of him and he's just hitting them repeatedly. He's not even doing anything and they're just messing up in front of him and he's just counterattacking constantly.
Yeah, I've got the Nun game like playing now just in the background, and that's happening. A lot of like Nun's running in with stuff, and then often Armada will just get something out of it.
Yeah, he's kind of just like, and anything that Armada does throw out is often than not like super safe. Yeah. Like it probably couldn't be punished at that point anyway, even if they were. Sometimes he has to break that thing. One of his comments is that in the Fox matchup, sometimes you just have to make a risky move to get anything to happen.
Yeah.
But often than not, like against the worst characters and things like that, he'll often just throw out very safe moves. And then if he clips with that, he'll continue his punish. And then other times he'll just bait something out from them with dash dances and wave dash back and shielding and stuff like that, and then punish out a shield or whiff punish it instead. So maybe that probably might be something that you can start to implement soon, of no attack, which is as scary as it sounds to just do nothing. You'll be surprised at the results.
Yeah,
especially
be more. Do you mean just be more patient and just let them whiff and try and counter it?
Yeah, like even going into a matchup and thinking, okay, I'm not going to make the first move. I'm going to move around until they do something first. And it sounds like absurd. Like it feels so unreliable as a tactic, but it's kind of like basically what Armada does. He waits for them to do a move, and if they don't execute it properly, he hits them back for it and then does a big combo off it. If they do execute it properly, he's usually kept himself safe by dash dancing out of the range or shielding or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he might reset it back to neutral and then it sort of starts over again.
Well, he also spends a lot of time like closing space. So like he limits their options a lot because he's right there the whole time.
Yeah, so they start to become predictable as well in what options they've actually got.
Yeah.
So yeah, very interesting. It's something that I personally am working on, because I have a tendency to just attack. And then Karu, for example, plays the same way. He's attack. And so when we verse each other, we just like, it's like battering rams just going at it. But when there's Spud, he'll occasionally just mix it up by doing nothing. And then I think that's why he's got it over us at the moment, is that he has that capacity to let us make the mistake like Armada does.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to have the capacity to do nothing and to not that's I think when I was thinking about it last night with the cross country floats, I feel like I always need to be attacking. And so part of what's caused that is just the fact that I feel like I need to be throwing out an attack. But the only way I can get to them is to get across the whole stage.
Yeah.
Whereas really I could just close a bit of space or even wait for them.
I think the idea of closing space, that concept is enough, just that mantra almost will kind of go hand in hand with the idea of not attacking.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to focus on just closing space, none of that really implies attacking. So if you're versing Falcon, you're like, all right, I'm going to try and push him towards the edge. I might aggressively dash dance towards him. And if I see anything suspicious, like he jumps, then I'm going to shield. Because, of course, if he jumps, then you're completely safe with shield. Then what he can't do anything. There's no way that he can beat your shield with a jump. And if he starts to do something like a nair, knee your shield, then there's certain plays against that. Again, we haven't discussed defensive options, but this kind of a sneak preview. You'll have to start working out ways of how best to deal with neon. And then once you've got those options, you know not to panic and I'm going to do this option because it wins all the time in this situation, then you'll feel much more comfortable just running and shielding. I guess that's another reason why you might not feel too comfortable with doing nothing, because doing nothing also means that you have to have really good out of shield game.
Yeah.
You need to be able to react very quickly. So, and reaction in Melee is not so much anything to do with some sort of inherent physical ability, mental ability that you have to be able to react to. You might have like table tennis kind of reactions. It's even in table tennis, I don't think a lot of these things are your natural reaction speed. It's a trained reaction.
Yeah.
Automatic stimulus kind of thing where you've seen the situation so many times that you can reflexively do something without even having to think it. That's the kind of reaction that I'm talking about when I'm talking about Armada's reaction when he's closing the distance with them and dash dancing, wave dashing out of range. He sees that they've done an attack. He knows that his move is going to, his dash dance is going to miss, and he reflexively does this dash attack to punish it. He's not invested so much energy into some sort of freak reaction skill.
Yeah.
It's just so well trained that
he's just done it so often.
Yeah. So something to think of.
So cool. So I've got some stuff to practice. So the biggest things to practice that we got from this was practice sweet spotting in different ways, as well as practicing my fair on shield sort of options. And then in game against Falcon, just moving around more to avoid the stomp, as well as countering it with nairs or rolling or wave dashing out of shield. Mix up my dash attacks with grab, something I always need to do. And then just watch Armada versus None and see what he's doing.
Regarding one last thing about the dash grab thing, you'll sometimes see that Armada does, instead of doing a run up dash grab, he does a run up shield grab.
Okay.
And it's basically a way of baiting out the spot dodge before you grab. So if you run up and go for a grab, then if they just happen to sidestep, then you can just wait it out inside shield and then punish that.
Yeah.
Whereas if they did nothing, they're still in lag or whatever, you can just immediately press A and you exit the shield. So you may end up only with one frame of shield. But if they did happen to do something you weren't expecting, then you still have some sort of defense. Yeah. That's just some extra padding, security blanket on your attack.
Well, it makes sense, right? To do that.
Yeah.
Because if you just throw out your dash grab, then there's going to be lag after that. So you'll miss it if they spot dodge, as well as if they shield it. Then
And if you
Oh,
if you do a running shield grab, you still get the dash grab animation if you do it fast enough.
yeah.
Like it's still in
Oh,
frames
really?
where yeah, like you'll see her stop, and then when you press A, she kind of does this like mini lunge forward and does the dash grab. So yeah, you can you won't get a jump cancel grab. You'll get a dash grab still. It happens also when you throw a turnip. If you try and like have a turnip and you run and shield and then press A, you get a dash throw even though you shielded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a little
Just like-
quirk in there.
Little stuff, semantics.
There's so much in this game that I'm just surprised that they put in.
Yeah, it's just such a complex game, hey? I never knew that it would like go this far.
Yeah, like at what point when they were making this party game would they think maybe it might be important if we have some sort of buffer frames where if someone wanted to run and then shield and then grab, that they're able to still get their dash grab because it's still in an acceptable amount of time.
Yeah, did they put this in or did it just happen automatically? Like,
I think it's a combination of like deliberate and lazy coding and development has led to interesting mechanics in the game. Like flow cancelling, I think, is just laziness or an oversight because it's like when Peach is in her float and she does an aerial, they have a different name in the game.
Oh, really?
And so they're called numbers. They don't actually have like other moves will have like you just say F air or something like that or forward aerial or something. But when Peach does a floating forward air, it's like 360 something. That's the name of the move.
So it's different. It's a different move in the code.
Yeah. Float cancel forward air is considered to be a different move to
forward air.
a regular forward air. Yeah. And so they obviously just forgot to make sure that those numbered moves for all of her aerials when floated actually have the
L cancel lag sort of stuff.
Yeah. So that they was just completely bypassed, and that's why she has float cancelling.
Yeah. Do you think auto cancelling was on purpose?
Yeah.
It just seems like so much advanced stuff that they put in to then say, oh, we don't actually want Smash Bros. To be an advanced game.
I think the auto cancel was probably just from a realism perspective. Same for the interruptible frames as well.
Yeah.
Because they would have come up with all these moves that have like these, fancy animations where this person, you see it more in other fighting games, to be honest. There's one. Have you ever seen Marvel vs. Capcom 3?
No.
Yeah. Have you played Phoenix Wright before?
No.
Do you know Phoenix?
I played Call of Duty before this. That was like my game before this.
Okay, fair enough. Well, then you've heard of Phoenix Wright though?
No.
Lawyer game?
No.
Okay, well, never mind that example. There was a character in this particular fighting game where if you did like his regular attacks, he went into this really long animation. Like his jab would take ages, but all of it was interruptible.
Yeah.
Like it was like an extreme version of interruptible frames. So the same kind of idea went into Melee where characters would have these attacks where once the gist of the move was over, you could walk out of it. But if you could let the animation keep going if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So interesting.
So much crazy
anyway,
stuff.
I'll leave it to you from there. So don't forget to practice. Practice the flow cancel forward airs and your double jump sweet spot and check out those games.
Yeah, I will. I try and get practice in every day now at the moment.
Yeah. Even just a little bit. Do you have any idea on when you're going to get NBN in your area?
No. It's not even like scheduled.
Damn.
Like the Gold Coast internet is terrible. And like for some reason my ping spikes. So like I'll play and pings at like 60 or 70, but randomly every now and then it'll spike to like 180 or like 200. And so it just like causes NetPlay to do these huge like stutter delays. Like,
yeah.
And so it's almost like playing Melee on slow-mo.
Yeah.
And so
I tried some NetPlay with some of the guys here, and it's acceptable in some parts. Sometimes it has moments and there's little gripes here and there, but it's better than not practicing at all, I found. And I feel it's better than solo practice if I can get it. But it would certainly make, if you had good internet, then I think it would be good enough that I could start demonstrating things on NetPlay.
Yeah. Well, we could probably demonstrate things. Oh, I don't know. We can test it next time if you want.
Yeah, we can definitely try that out.
Thralls is like a computer nerd a bit, and so he keeps trying to problem solve my like NetPlay for me which is good because I have no idea. We were talking about it last night. He's like, yeah, if I do this, this, and this, I'm like, dude, I have no idea what you just said, but sure, man, let's try it.
I hate how much effort it takes to get some of these like third party, like the hacked sort of stuff to work. Like trying to get Project M to work. Oh my God, I just gave up in the end and I just gave it to someone else and they gave me the SD card and I just put it in.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Even I like finally worked out how to like hack a Wii and to get 20XX and stuff like that. But originally it was just so hard for my mind to understand because I'm not that way inclined.
Yeah, I think it's just like, I think I just stepped out. When I was younger, I used to be kind of like really into that kind of thing. And then just for a period of time, I just kind of stepped out from that whole thing where you're really into, that sort of nitty gritty with using computers.
Yeah.
And just stepped out for a few years, especially like with how quickly the internet developed over time, just makes it harder to come back in and be like, all right, how do I get 20XX to work on my thing? And you're just looking at this shopping list of instructions on Smashboard and what to do next. And all these people who make these instructions are usually just so bad at making the instructions. Like they'll skip steps or they'll imply something but not be specific. And
yeah, they assume too much. Like Thralls will do that if he like makes instructions. He like assumes stuff that you don't.
Yeah. And now with all the differences in like back in the day, it was everyone just had Windows computer. Yeah. And then now, like, if you've got this version of Windows, if you've got a Mac, if you've got whatever.
Yeah, well, that stuffed me up. I moved to Mac like 7 or 8 years ago now, and so everything on Mac is so easy. It's like if you want to install an application, you download it and you like put it in the apps folder, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like everything's so simple to then go to like Windows and have to set up NetPlay and you got to do all these codes and stuff. It's like, oh, dude, too much effort.
Yeah. You think someone would have just made it easy for everyone by now?
I know, that's the thing, right? Oh, and then the debug. What about the debug menu in 20XX? It's like, could someone not put like at least a good font in? Like, the font is so hard to read. It's like, I guess we don't have a Steve Jobs in our community yet to go to that effort.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah. All right, guys. Well, that completes this episode with Coach Quetz. Thanks so much for watching. I definitely find these very useful and they're improving my play. It's great to, even understanding that when I'm getting stomped, I'm not DIing, and to start DIing that as well as some things that I can do to counter stomp against Falcon, and also getting new ideas on things to practice is really helpful as well. So that's one of my favorite things about these coaching calls is that I walk away with new things to practice that I can just improve my game. And I did notice that I was getting nairs out of shield finally this week, and so I'll just continue practicing my out of shield options as well as fair on shield and mix ups there and stuff like that. So it's great to have all these new options to practice. So I hope that you found this useful if you're a Peach player or that you enjoyed it. And until next time, keep calm and play Melee.